You could tell when somebody's hustling. You can see it in their eyes, bro. Like, you know, the bags are heavy, right? The eyes are red.
That's why I'm wearing glasses right now. You know?
Yo, let's go. June the Realtor Show, episode number 7, coming to you live with my boy, Davey Olivera. Man, I'm sitting down with one of the best agents in San Diego. Not just my office, I'm talking about in San Diego. He's a top 1% nationally ranked realtor. This man is built different, okay? His electrifying energy, unstoppable hustle, and a genuine heart for his clients is what really makes him so popular. And for those that don't know Davey's not just a producer. He's actually a proud father to his daughter, Juju. And he has an amazing wife, Joanna, who is also his partner in crime. She's not just his wife, his partner as well. And today we're going to be jumping into 3 powerful segments: family, we're going to talk about business, and we're going to talk about legacy. And so with that all being said, Davey, welcome on, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me.
Of course, bro. Thank you for coming on.
Make me cry with this intro.
Oh, man, come on. Well, first and foremost, I think this is something that, like, you and I have never like had like an actual sit down one-on-one. So some of this stuff is going to be like structured on my script here, but some of it I'm just going to ask as I go along. But I think one of the main things, and I think I know the answer to this one, but where did you grow up? And tell me a little bit about your upbringing.
So I grew up in a small town outside of Fresno, 7,000 people, farm working community, very humble beginnings. Parents still work in the fields, dad in the almonds, mom works in the tomato factory. So they showed me what hustle's all about, right? You got to work hard, you know, whatever you set your mind to, you got to make it happen. And if you treat people right, things will work out.
Absolutely. No, go ahead. Sorry.
No. So just going off of that is, you know, a lot of people, you know, dream to do certain things, and I had the great support. Maybe they didn't have the education to kind of push me in certain directions, but they showed me how to work, and that's what we're here.
Hell yeah. I mean, dude, from the fields, bro. That's no joke. Mom and dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's no joke. I mean, I know one thing we have in common is that our families are from Nayarit, right? Mm-hmm. Did you grow up there at all, or did you spend some time there?
But typically we try to go at least, you know, every December, go out there, hang out. You know, I grew up in a ranchito, so cows, horses, everything, and that's the reason why I want my own little ranchito here. So
yeah, man, I that's one thing I think. Like as I get closer towards like, I was not towards the end of my life, right? I'm still a little kid. No. But as I grow older, I tend to realize, like, you know what? I don't want to be like living in the city, right? I literally want to live out on a ranch. My girl's family has a ranch in El Valle, right? And they bought that little ranch like in the 1980s, and they bought it for like $5,000, like 10 acres. And now it's like a multi-million-dollar area because it's right behind the pueblito. And so for me, as I go there, I start to realize, like, damn, I'm never on my phone, bro. Like, it's quiet as fuck out here. Her grandpa's like 86. He like tends to the ranch. And it's just like, man, who the heck wouldn't want to live like this, like at the end of their days, you know? Yeah. It's sometimes growing up in the city, it's like too much chaos.
It's always, 100 miles an hour. But when you go out there, you get to relax and really take it in.
Yeah. It's like life like slows down.
Yeah.
You know, and then you're having wine out there too. You really start thinking, you're like, man, you know what, dude, I could live here forever.
Do I really want to go back?
Yeah. Do I want to go back home, man? But, you know, Mexico has the tendency to do that shit to you too. You know, you go to Mexico for like a week and you're like, fuck America, dude.
Yeah. Especially in Nayarit, because like I said, my family still lives in the rancho. There's hardly any reception. They got the aguas termales next door. It's just full relaxation. You know?
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. My tata, who grew up out there, he was raised with like 9 different kids. He was the rebel though, and he's like the second oldest, but he's second oldest, but he was like the rebel, and so he always wanted to be like an abogado. You know, he wanted to be a lawyer, and his parents could only afford one kid going to school, and so he ended up leaving like when he was 12 from the ranchito there, and they were poor, bro. Like I think until he was like 7 or 8 years old, bro, he was like still like TMI, but he was still like being breastfed because of how poor they actually were. There was no like, that's just how they got by back then. And so, yeah, it's crazy, bro, to think about like the humble beginnings of some of like our ancestors, bro, and where we are today, how privileged we are today. Which leads me to ask you, you know, like obviously you're a well-valued man. what are some of the values from your childhood that you now bring into fatherhood?
I think the biggest thing is, kind of, my dad was a great example. He still is, right? And it's, work hard, treat people right, keep on doing what you're doing. And if you can, take care of people in the process, things will always work out. And I've always had that at my core. And my mom has the greatest heart. Like, people can tell her the worst things in the world and she'll always find the positive and help people out. So I think that's the reason why I've been successful as a teacher, in the nonprofit world, and as an agent, because despite what's going on, I relate with people. I try to find out how can I help? How can I take care of them and then move forward?
Yeah, I love that, man. Highlight the teacher part. We're going to circle back to that here in a bit because I think that also plays a big factor into what you do today. But that's awesome, man. What does being a dad to Juju now mean to you, right? So you grew up, with your parents working in the fields, you working in the fields, right? What is like being a dad at the level that you're at right now mean to you?
I think for me, it was just a different level of love, bro. My mom always told me, when you have your kids, you'll understand what it means to be a parent. And I always said, no, you're just getting me in trouble for any reason, whatever. As a kid, you just find every excuse possible.
Yeah.
Now I look back and I'm like, holy shit, she was right. She was right, dude. It's one of those things where you realize, and then being a girl dad, I think for me, it's just a complete, another level.
Yeah.
You love your mom, you do anything for her. Then it goes to you love your wife, you'll do anything for them. Your daughter, bro.
Yeah.
You're not mess with my daughter.
No.
It's one of those things where it's just another level, and you appreciate everything in life more.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, oh God, man. Like even when I was leaving the house right now to come over here, my daughter just woke up. She's been going to sleep like at 2 a.m. bro. Jeez. But she wakes up at like 1 p.m, like a teenager, bro. Like fucking weird. But it's like I'm leaving the house. And she had just woken up right before I'm about to leave, and I pick her up from her bed, and she like se acostó on my shoulder, and I'm just like, fuck, bro, like what I wouldn't do for you, I think being a girl dad, like it's different when you're a boy dad,
Yeah.
And I think God humbled me first to give me a girl, and I think He does that to a lot of men. Andy's a girl dad, right? So he 3, and so like the way I look at it is like God humbled me through my daughter, because you start to realize like I gotta protect the fuck out of her. I have a son. If I had a son, it'd be the same, but it's a different level of like protection. Now you really have to think about a lot of different things as you have a girl, and so the love, you're right, is 100% different, bro. It melts you as a man, actually.
Oh, guaranteed. Guaranteed. Try to be tough. Never mind.
Yeah, exactly. Now, how do you and Joanna, like, how do you guys balance? So you okay? By the way, I gotta compliment you, bro. Like, you have an amazing relationship with your wife. At least from what I see in the office, and then from what I see on Instagram, you have an amazing relationship with your wife. One that's like very productive. You guys work together. You guys hustle together. How do you guys balance working together and then keeping your marriage strong at the same time?
I think a big thing, honestly, and full credit, we would not be where we're at if it wasn't for her. You know what I mean? I've always had the drive. I've always had, the vision. And when she came in my life, everything changed. Finances, goals, everything. She held me accountable for a lot of shit that, I sometimes kind of oversaw.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to give credit completely to her. It's one of those things where we would not, and she knows I mention it all the time, but sometimes she probably just thinks, oh, he's just saying it, right? But in reality, she is the backbone of this family. So a big thing was when she came on board was we got to be on the same page with finances. We all had our different finances. We got on the same page, how to do that. And that changed a lot of what, how our goals kind of got, aligned.
Yeah.
That was number one. Number two was communication, bro. I was horrible when we have disagreements. I'll be like, I'm out. She's like, no, cabrón, vente pa acá, have a seat.
Oh, shit.
Have a fucking seat. We're going to talk right now. And I wasn't used to it, bro. Never. Not even with my mom, I'll be like, you know what? I'll talk to you later. She's like, hell no. You want this shit to work? You got to sit down. So that right there was new to me too, bro, because I was just more like, I'll talk to you later when it cools down, and cool, we're all right now. She's like, no, we're going to fix this now because we're not going to sleep mad. And then, it's not going to work out.
Yeah.
So that shit kind of, she checked me, bro. Like I needed a strong woman to check me. Let's be real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some guys will be like, oh, mandilon.
I know. No.
Nowadays it's home technician, homie. It's home technician. So, and I learned that word from my suegro.
Home technician.
Home technician, bro. We're in the 21st century. Come on, you know? But at the end of the day, it's the only way you're going to achieve your goals and get to where you want to be is if you guys are on the same page.
Yeah.
I got to give credit to her for that.
No, man. The saying goes, right? Like behind every great man is a great, even stronger woman. And I can't say enough good things about my fiance. I know what she means to my business and how that plays. Like, dude, I'm not Davey yet, right? Like, I'm not popping yet, but like one thing I will say is that when you have a good woman, bro, she will encourage you. She will help you. Like right now, I helped her get through nursing school, right? And that shit was tough, bro. I mean, I like, I'm not your typical realtor, right? I have a mortgage. I got shit. Like, I got big boy responsibilities. And on top of having a baby and then getting my girl through nursing school was not fucking easy. But somehow, some way, like, she would whisper in my ear and just tell me, like, hey, it's going to be okay. Like, don't worry, don't stress. Like, God provided for us and he'll continue to provide for us. And like, bro, there would be times as an agent where I'm like, I don't know how the fuck, I pulled money out of my ass sometimes. I'm like, $5,000 just out of nowhere, boom, we'll pay the mortgage, boom. I'm like, how does that work? But when you have a strong woman, bro, to encourage you, it changes things.
No.
Even like this last month, she like helped me pay my my car. Cause it's like, dude, like now she's a nurse. She's my sugar mama now. Shit.
There you go.
Pero te digo, like, it's not, it's not all, what do they say? Like butterflies and rainbows and shit, bro.
No, and it isn't, right? We've been in situations because sometimes, I'll spread myself too thin. I get overly excited about a project or this or that.
Me.
And she'll fucking look at me and she goes, babe, how are we going to do this? Like, we can't pay all this stuff. And I always look at her, and it's happened a couple of times, and I go, look at me in the eyes, and I said, I promise you two things. You're not going to go hungry, and you're not going to go homeless. Do you believe in me? And she always said, yes, I believe in you. She never gave up, and here we are.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Yeah. One of the things I remember when I was talking to my chick, too, when I was, like, we first started dating, I told her, one thing I'll promise you is I'll live under a bridge before I ever let you be there with me. Yeah. And it's like the mentality, you got to have that mentality, bro. I think it's rare to see that in a lot of men, but I don't think you're a mandilon. No, like, people can say what the fuck they want to say, man. But at the end of the day, like, I think it's admirable, bro. The generation we live in, to take care of your wife, to take care of your daughter, hey, even if you said, hey, I'm working on a project and I'm stretching myself too thin, at least you're doing something like bigger than the average Joe Schmo. You don't want to be like, the last thing you want to do in this world is be average, right?
Yeah.
And so it leads me to ask you, man, like, what's the hardest part for the audience to know? Like, what's the hardest part of like balancing being a father, a husband, and a realtor?
I think the hardest part is, since I give everything into whatever I'm doing, whether it's working, being a family man, or a husband, is that balance, bro. It's tough because you want to make sure you take care of all these people, do right by them.
Right.
You want to do right by your wife, and you want to do right by your child, right? So sometimes I come home and Juju would be like, Daddy, no phone, because I'm always on the phone.
Yeah.
Daddy, no phone. And that hits me a different way. You know what I mean? She's only 3.
Yeah.
But she understands that she loves real estate. Like, she designed my ADU.
Really?
Like, she picked out all the fixtures, all the stuff. She designed everything.
Oh.
And she likes it. So it's one of those things where, like, I love it, but on the same token, I have to be conscious of, like, you know what? I got to put this shit aside. I got to be present.
Yeah.
I try to be as present as possible and make sure I, make as much time as possible, because I want to provide, but on the same token, I want to be here. I don't want to just provide and not be present for any of the milestones, So.
Yeah, of course. No, I think I hit a breaking point like last year in November, dog, and I same thing. Like, how do you balance being a realtor and like just having a family life, right? And I see you, bro, and like, you believe it or not, like, you're an inspiration to a lot of people, bro. Like I said, I have like a 10,000 foot overview and I get to see you from a distance. But I think it's fucking cool, bro, because I see you, like, you hustle with your family, but you're not just anybody, bro. You're literally like out on the road all the time. And you could tell when somebody's hustling, you could see it in their eyes, bro. Like, the bags are heavy, right? The eyes are red.
That's why I'm wearing glasses right now,
But that's what I say. Like, it's admirable, bro. It's not easy to be like a full-time realtor and then trying to balance being a family man, taking care of your wife, being present. Being present is like something I had to learn just recently, because you live in fight or flight for so long, dog, and you're just like, hold on, pause. Like, I need to, I need to get back in, and I need to focus in on my family, like the shit that really matters. It's funny, like, I'll share this with you about myself. Like, even this month, bro. So I haven't paid my mortgage just yet. I just finally got a closing that happened yesterday.
Huh?
No, ayer.
Congrats, baby. Let's go.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Yeah, and it was not an easy deal, bro. It was a really hard deal overall. For Enrique and I, bro, it was like a fucking tough. This guy, I called him yesterday and congratulated my client, and I was like, hey, you know what, bro? I'm thankful because you taught me a lot. And he starts laughing, dog, because he knows he was a pain in the ass. But he is very like, he was like, hey, thank you, but no, like, seriously, thank you guys. Like, I want you to know, like, I'm very appreciative because I know it wasn't easy. And anyways, nonetheless, man, like, you start to realize, like, when you're doing real estate, it's not always glitz and glamour, bro. There's some fucking hard parts in it. And so it leads me to ask you, like, on that same note that we've been talking on, like, what struggles do you face personally, right? Because, like, obviously balancing is one thing, but, like, what struggles do you face, like, on your own, as a human? Like, what do you face that is, is it that voice in your ear that's like, fuck, can you make it? What do you struggle with yourself?
I think and I've struggled with this when I was a director for nonprofit, as a teacher, and then now is I want to be able to help everybody, and sometimes the circumstances don't allow for it, right? Just being there and understanding, like, damn, I can't do anything for you right now, but let me see what I can do in 6 months, a year. Let's create a plan. So shifting that focus from getting all bummed out and like, damn, I can't do anything for him, I feel like I failed him, to, let's create a plan, let's be supportive. How can I still help you? And we revisit this and go forward. I think that's why I get a lot of business, because a lot of agents see, oh, this guy can't do anything, I'll see you later.
Yeah.
And they come to me and they talk to me, and I said, let's create a plan.
Yeah.
And I think I count that to my background, my parents, but also my experience. Because I've worked in nonprofit, helping people, homeless outreach, everything across the board.
Right. And that's one of the biggest things, like, you're calling it right now, is like follow up to. I think, like, for us realtors, like, it's easy to just be like, oh, you're not ready right now? See you. Yeah. Bye. I have an uncle who's a commercial broker, and Andy knows him. And he's, there's a prime story, I'll tell you. He had a commercial, he would go get his smog done on, where that, on the 805 and Telegraph Canyon. Mm-hmm. There's like a little smog shop, right?
A little ranchero taco?
Yeah, right there. So right off of Telegraph, and he would go and get his smog done there for years. People had reached out to the owner of the building, and the owner actually, like, the owner of the building ran the business too, the smog company. And that guy had owned that building for 40 years. His family owned it for like some crazy amount before that too. Damn. So they owned that building for a long time. And my uncle, he would just go there. He would get his smog check, talk to the guy, feel him out, see if he's going to, willing to sell or not sell. And then finally there came a day where the guy was like 4 or 5 years later, after getting his smog done there all the fucking time, the guy's like, I'm ready to sell. Boom. And that's like, you think about it, like 805 and Telegraph Canyon, it's like one of the most prime locations in San Diego. And that shit doesn't come just by like, oh yeah, are you looking to buy a home or sell a home? No, it's you looking to buy a property, sell a property? No. It's follow-up, consistency. And one thing I admire, man, is like you do such a good job of like not giving up on clients that you will, I don't know how you have we could talk about this too, but like, I don't know how you have your follow-up system set in place, but like, I'm almost 100% sure you do not become the number one real estate agent without following up. I'm 1,000% sure of that. And so, go ahead.
And I think there's a big difference, because some people do mass texts, mass emails. It's more, I genuinely mean it when clients become family.
Yeah.
So you gotta treat them like family, right? You follow up, personalized text, call, how you doing? Not even, for, hey, rates are dropping. It's more like, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving, appreciate you. No real estate talk. It's just more.
Just love.
And then I get invited for parties, birrias at some of my clients' houses. It's like, we're going to the Canelo fight, stuff like that. Like, it becomes family. So it's a big shift, right?
Yeah.
I think that's been the biggest thing, and I got that from my parents. Like, you come over to a birthday party and it turns into like a quinceañera. We have like 300 people at that. So I've always been like that. I've been a gatherer.
Yeah.
Obviously, and over the years, Joanna has been a big advocate of like, I love that you're a gatherer and all that stuff, but there's also people that want you around and other people that maybe don't necessarily want you, right?
Yeah.
So utilize that time with people that truly want to be around you, and I think my relationships have enhanced in the process.
Yeah.
And I've been able to do a lot more too.
And the beauty behind that too is network, man. Network. Like the connections that you make through that, right? Like you never know who's mentioning your name to other people. So, and I'm sure you've gotten deals that way too. Mm-hmm. But that's the shit that matters. Like, when a client funds, right, and they close, it's like, do you forget about them? What happens? Like so you're right. Like sending Merry Christmases, Happy Mother's Day, Happy Father's Day, that kind of stuff, it matters because when you adopt. So one thing that changed for me in my business, bro, I adopted real estate as my lifestyle. It's not just a 9 to 5. It's a lifestyle to me because I'm a walking billboard everywhere I go. I'm not successful yet. I'm not Gabe Mendez or Carlos just yet. But I do understand the concept of business. Like you have to be a walking billboard if you want to make it. You got to be. And so it kind of let's segue into the next topic, which was business, right? So I heard through the grapevine, and you mentioned it earlier, you used to be a teacher. Can you tell me a little bit about that and what made you switch lanes into real estate?
So before becoming a teacher, I was a director for nonprofit for 10 years, focusing on college and career pathways.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you somewhat of a counselor or?
No, I oversaw literally all the intervention programs, all the enrichment programs at 20 different schools in the South Bay.
Wow. Through Sweetwater or just?
Sweetwater, San Isidro, combination, right?
Okay.
So we started off with 2 schools. Through that process, I was able to get 20 because of the quality of staff that we had, the services that we provided, and the holistic approach.
Right.
It wasn't just tutoring. It was counseling. It was this. It was that. It was food programs. Everything. So start off that way. All the principals, I would collaborate with the principals and the superintendent of the district, and they said, "Dude, you'll be a great principal." I was like, "Well, who knows? Maybe I'll consider it."
Yeah.
They're all like, "Dude, just get your credential, teach for 2 years, become a principal." So that was my track.
Okay.
When they heard I was doing my credential, I started the intern program, and they hired me without having my full credential because pretty much I was already doing it.
Wow.
So I got hired instantly. Like they heard, "Hey, David, I heard you're gonna apply. Are you able to come for an interview right now?" And this was noon. "Can you come to an interview at 2:00?" I was like, "I'm not dressed for an interview. I don't care." So I went, got hired, started teaching, and then the goal was to become a principal, right?
Right.
And I started teaching. I just fell in love with it, and I said, "You know what? I don't want all the politics. I did all the politics when I was a director. I love just being in the trenches." So that's where I started doing a bunch of stuff, different programming. And then after that, like my business kind of started blowing up because I was doing real estate since 2012, more as a hobby, doing ADUs, Airbnb on a smaller scale, right?
Okay.
Because teachers, we don't get paid anything.
You're right.
And it sucks, right? So I started that, and then when I joined forces with Joe was a teacher. We met actually at the school that I ended up teaching at, 10 years later.
So pause real quick. So how old were you guys when you met?
The first time we met, I was 22. I think she was 18, 19.
Okay.
And then we reconnected later on in 2015, 16, and then everything else is history.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, so it was crazy. So how it all ended up, right? And I ended up teaching at the school that I actually met her at.
Wow.
So I went full circle.
Yeah, that's how it happens. That's how it happens.
So it's pretty neat. But like I said, I was a teacher for a few years, and through that process, it got to the point where I was just getting blown up, for business, and I had to make that decision. But my heart was with the kids, right? And it got to the point where one of my staff who actually took my position now. David, I love you. Doing an amazing job. Great community leader. Hopefully one day he'll be over here as well.
Yeah.
But
we'll send it to him. Make sure David
Singh.
There you go.
He told me, he looked at me straight in the eye and he goes, "David, I love the fact," because I was also holding off so he can get the credits needed so he can take my position, right? Mm-hmm. Plus I wanted to make sure the kids were okay. So if he took it, I knew they'd be perfect.
Yeah.
He looked at me and he goes, "David, I love the fact that you care for us. You care for me. You care for the kids. But we're not paying your mortgages, bro. You got to go." When he gave me that green light, I didn't need that green light, but just knowing that he saw what I was trying to do and I was holding on just because I wanted to make sure they're going to be okay, I left and everything just blew up.
That's fucking crazy, man.
So it was definitely a huge blessing. I miss
That's
teaching.
crazy.
I miss coaching. I used to coach softball too. But I think all that stuff prepped me to be a girl dad.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, dude, you and Joe, like the fact that you guys were teachers, you guys understand patience, right? I think like I would suck. I let me rephrase that. I don't think I would suck as a teacher, but if I was teaching like middle school, high school kids, bro, I would suck. I would suck.
Both of us were middle school, and we were middle school special education teachers.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's even next level.
Yeah. So the patience had to come.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I believe subconsciously. That's probably what led you to your greatness today, man. Because the patience in real estate, right? Me and Andy talk about this all the time, but it's like, dude, real estate is not linear. It's not linear at all. And so it's like you got to understand patience. You got to understand that, like, you know, in order to make it right, it's gonna take teaching. And I think that's one of the beauties that I think has led to your success, brother, is you teach people genuinely. And it's not like on some hype shit. No. You genuinely teach people philanthropy. And I think that's admirable, bro. David Singh, if you're out there, I'm going to say this on behalf of you. If you're out there, man, thank you for recognizing greatness, because I think that's something that like a lot of good friends don't do, right? They'll like they may be your best of friends, but sometimes they stay quiet and they're not willing to let you go for whatever reason, right? But people that truly admire you, they see the potential in you. They see the potential so deep that they're like, hey, you know what, brother? Like, don't worry about me. Worry about you. And I think that's the fucking coolest thing, bro. So David Singh, if you're out there, thank you for cheers to you, bro. Thank you for letting a great one do his thing, bro. Because everybody in their life needs a fucking David Singh in their life, right? So anyways, nonetheless, that helps me transition into the rise of Davey Olivera and Joanna, right? So how did you rise to become the #1 agent in Shopping SD? Who's right behind you, by the way? Is it Angel?
We're both up. He's up. I'm up.
It's like flippy floppy, right?
Yeah. So it's and we push each other. You know, it's that
like
genuine, it's the genuine brother kind of competition where we genuinely want to push each other to be better every year. Keep on striving for more. And you know, he's my business partner as well for a moving cleaning business. And I think that's the reason why we've been also very successful, in the sense that it's more like genuine love.
Yeah.
So gotta give
Angel?
credit to Angel, because he's actually the reason why I quit.
Is he?
When he met me, the first time he met me, I walked in the office and he goes, "Bro, you're gonna be a savage. You're gonna be a savage. I need quit your job." And I go, "Dude, I got mortgages. I got a wife. I can't just quit. Like, I'm not even producing yet. Obviously, I'm sure maybe I got the skills to do it, but every day I walk in the office, did you quit yet?" No, bro. Carlos was like, "Don't fucking quit. You know, don't quit until you're ready to rock and roll."
Right.
And Angel was the opposite. Quit. So I always give credit for him, because I
pushed
me, and then it allowed me to set a goal. I'm the type of person, I'll set a goal, and if I don't meet it, I can't quit.
Yeah.
So when I came on board full time and I got licensed, I said, this summer, if I get 10 escrows, I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna quit. I got 8.
Dude.
I got 8. I didn't quit because that's just the pride in me, right? So I didn't quit. 6 months later, in January, I had 10 escrows in January. So at that point, I said, okay, and then I was contemplating, should I not? Should I, you know, what should I do? And then that's when David said, "Hey, bro, you gotta get the fuck out of here. You know, I know you love us and this and that, but you gotta get the fuck out."
Yeah.
And then everything else is history. Like I have my you know, every couple of weeks we connect with David and just check in and see how we're doing.
Yeah.
And he's killing it at the school. He's doing amazing, doing great things still.
Hey, that guy's I don't know if he's bought a house just yet, but if he hasn't,
we're in the process.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If he hasn't, you know who he's gonna use, right? Like Angel has got one of those personalities, I'll say. Every once in a while, bro. You know me, man. I don't hop in the office as much as I should, right? And that's fault on June. But I'm like full-time dad right now. It's been a little tough on me with a 1-year-old. It's a little tough, but I will say this about Angel. Angel reached out. He'll reach out to me at the most fucking randomest times, right? And I think that's what sets apart like people's personalities. He reached out to me at the most randomest time and was like, "Hey, you okay?" He'll FaceTime me, bro. I'm just like, motherfucker, I haven't talked to you in like months. Like, but he'll just FaceTime you and he'll be like, you okay? And that's a winner mentality, bro. That's what happens when you are a good realtor too. You know how, like I said, you know how to follow up and touch, touch and feel, touch and go, touch and go, touch and go. And I was pulling up my phone because I wanted to show you, because I the other day I reached out to him. I was like, hey, he's like, yeah. I said, I love you, bro. Thank you for never forgetting about me. You legit always check up on me. And he's like, I'm always here for you, Papa. People don't know this in the office, but like actually we have some mutuals and shit, from back in the day that he used to party with, and that I like are now my friends too, And so it's a lot of great realtors, man. Like they know how to touch and feel, they know how to touch and go. And so it leads me to ask you, what are your daily habits or mindset shifts that help you now level up in your business?
I think the one thing that when we first started kind of going full force with real estate was, in a way, I was double triple booking myself. And then Joanna was like, you got to use your fucking calendar. Use your calendar. You got to put it in there. Add me as a collaborator or whatever. And then even if it's something you're doing, that way I don't book you or vice versa, right?
Right.
I know you're not busy. So that shit just changed, right? And mind you, as a director of nonprofit, my calendar was my life. When I shifted over to teacher, I was like, whatever,
Yeah.
So I had to kind of relearn that again. And since then, dude, everything has been smooth sailing.
Dude, I laugh
smooth sailing
because bro, us guys, we're fucking disorganized, bro. I barely started using my calendar up until like a couple months ago, and I forget a lot of shit, But it like that's cool because everybody needs a Joanna, right? You need a good woman in your life to help you organize, dog. Well, that's the brains of the operation, no?
I would triple book. We'll have a date night, and then I'll have drinks with the boys or a buyer consult, whatever. I was like, date night is gone,
Yeah.
So she got to a point where like, all right, Cabron, come on, dude. Like, come on. You can't be doing that shit to me. Use your calendar, and then, if we need to change it, then we'll discuss or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's something that I tell all my agents, right? Hey, give me a request on the calendar. If it fits, it's yours. Nobody's touching it no matter what, unless a crazy emergency, right? So they were all traumatized because they're used to like, oh, you know what? Someone's not going to make it. Are you sure you're going to make it? They would follow up and go, I told you, if it's on the calendar, it's sacred. Nobody's touching it.
Yep.
So it took some time for people to get used to it, but then it took me time to like really make sure it was on point. So if you call me and say, hey, tomorrow, can you come to this? Most likely they can't, because my calendar's fucking booked. It's booked, And
I know, that's why I tried to, when I was scheduling the podcast, I'm like, hey, can we make this work? What times? Because I know, dude, you're a busy dude. You're a busy
sometimes
guy.
I overstretch myself still, but it's one of those things where now I'm utilizing all the resources around me. Joanna's helping me out greatly. She does all the stuff that I hate when it comes to managing our properties, designing. She designs all our flips, right? She designs all that stuff, and she loves it.
Yeah.
I think that's why Juju's getting so like into it.
Yeah.
She'll walk into a hotel. Oh, I love what they did with the tile on the restaurant.
No.
I swear to God, bro.
At 3?
At 3, bro.
That's insane.
I kid you not. Which is crazy, because now when she goes shopping, she goes balls out too.
Oh, damn.
So I'm scared of when she's like 15.
She's gonna break your car, dog.
Bro, she's a teenager right now, what I mean? So I love it, but on the same token, I gotta prep for it. So that's why I probably hustle a little bit more,
Yeah, no, as you should. That's about to be your like, okay, I don't know if you've seen me, bro, on my Instagram too. I take Camila with me. If I can go do showings, I take her ass with me. We went to fucking Lake Elsinore. We spent all day showing homes all over Riverside County, because I'm like, you know what, dog? Hey, she's like, se va a ver. She's going to see. And she's going to be like, you know what? Hey, daddy was a hustler. Daddy fucking sacrificed. And like, I have a good life because daddy did what he had to do. Yeah. And maybe one day, and I know you now enough to say, your daughter, you want your daughter to surpass you in the best way possible, right? Yeah. And so, though it's cool to see that, like, she's picking off of mommy and daddy. Like,
see, she's doing stuff that I didn't do. So my parents, out of necessity, had to become entrepreneurs, right? Mm-hmm. In the fields, back then, they were making $2, $3, $4 an hour. Ain't shit, bro. They were able to take care of 4 freaking monster boys, feed them, buy a house, you know what I mean? Buy little investments in Mexico to for them, for the future.
Are you the oldest, by the way?
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest.
I'm the oldest.
So you were the test trial kid. So no wonder. Yep. You have some stamina. You have endurance. You got the wherewithal to fucking see. Because I see you with your, is your brother that you're working with your youngest then?
He's the youngest.
He's the baby.
So when I left Fireball, which is, like I said, a small town, I came to San Diego at 17. I graduated early with nobody. All by myself, came out here, and then he was born. So unfortunately, I wasn't there for like most of his, you know, his life. But now I'm here, and I want to make sure that he's gonna be set. And I told him, if you trust me, if you work hard and you do what I tell you, not necessarily to demand, but it's more like because I'm gonna help you avoid my mistakes.
Yeah.
By the time you're my age, you'll be chilling.
Oh yeah. No, I'm in the same boat as you right now, bro. Like I'm 25. My closest brother in age with me is 16, and my youngest sibling, right? Because like my parents split when I was a kid, so they went off. They had me super young, 16, 17, and my dad had a baby like a couple months before I had Camila. So there's a 24-year age gap between me and my furthest sibling, right? And I think along those same lines, bro, because I'm like old enough to be their dad too, right? But I think along the same lines is like, I want, you know, I'm going to help all my siblings I want to guide them to success, whether, I don't care if it's real estate or whatever they want to do, but I'm going to push them to do something great. It took me a long time, Davey, between you and me, I'll share this with you. So like in 2020, I went through a really bad depression, and I tried to figure out like, what is my meaning in this world, right? Like my parents had me young. You know, I left home at 17, or I got kicked out at 17, I should say. Lived in my car, lived on a couch, I got my own apartment. That was like graduation day for me, right? But I started to think about it, bro, because I was 20. I made like $200,000 in 2020 as a lender, as a loan officer, I should say. And like at that moment, I was like, I have all this fucking money. I'm in my 300, 400 square foot apartment in City Heights. I got nothing. Like, I feel like I got nothing because my parents went off. They like started their own lives, you know, all of that. And I started to realize, I'm like, you know what, bro? It's not that. As I got over my depression, I started realizing it's not, I'm here for my siblings. I'm here because they're going to need some fucking help with their parents, that I'll be able to help them, you know? And I love seeing you work with your brother, dog, because my greatest ambition in life is not just to have my family, like us to do something together as a family, like work-wise, but to help my siblings grow into something that they really want to be, bro. And not just be like to really take our family to different heights. You feel me? And that's cool when I see Danny and he's posting and he's out in like Bakersfield or up there in like Central California. I'm like, you know what, Davey, you did a good fucking job, bro. So I know we kind of diverted there, but I just want to say, man, like that's super admirable, bro.
Well, I can't take credit for Danny, dude, because like I said, I was out here. I tried to do as much as I could, but that kid's 10 times more mature than I was his age. You know what I mean? He just has a great head on his shoulder, bro. He was a stud running back out of high school, like top 5 in the state.
Wow.
He could have easily milked that. He was on TV, all that. He came out on the Josh Allen Nike commercial, like.
No way,
yeah, bro. And it never got to his head, bro.
Wow.
That's one thing where my ass would have been, ooh, let's make it happen, dude. I would have been on another level. But for him, that's one thing where like, and that's the inner Luis, my dad, in him, right? My dad's just the chillest dude, like doesn't party. He's not crazy like we are, you know?
Yeah.
He's just a genuine fucking guy, bro. Like if I'm half the dad he is, I had a great fucking life.
You know what, man? He should be proud of himself. Because you raised some good fucking kids, man. You know, cheers to that.
Cheers.
Now, it leads me to ask you, bro, what investments have you started? So now you're a realtor, right? You've killed it in this space. You're killing it in this space. You've killed it in this space. Now, what are some of the investments now that you're making as a realtor? I think I say this a lot to a lot of realtors, and I say this a lot to a lot of lenders. Like, I highly doubt that a lot of people want to be in real estate, like showing homes at like 80 or 90 years old, unless you're somebody here in Chula Vista that I think Andy and I know. but you know, nobody wants to be showing homes at like 80 years old, right? So what are some of the investments that you've now invested into since becoming a realtor, and what are some of the goals that you're trying to hit here, man? What is Davey Olivera in like 10 years from now?
So the biggest thing has always been for me is I want to collect rents, right? When I was a teacher, when I was a nonprofit, I want to collect rents, and come the first of the month, I want to be like Mr. Lee. And I'm going to give you a little story of Mr. Lee. When I was at UCSD, Mr. Lee, probably like 70-something years old, coolest dude. He had, I think, like 30-something rentals in Mira Mesa.
Mm-hmm.
He would just show up, knock on the door. Hey, guys, here for the rent. Collect his money. Boom, boom, boom. I was like, Mr. Lee, how many rentals you got? I got about 37. And I go, do you do this every single day? How long does it take you to collect all the rents? About 2-3 days. I collect all of them. And I was like, I want to be like you, Mr. Lee. He goes, you work hard, my dude. He didn't say my dude. He said, you work hard, young man. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
And since then, that always stuck in the back of my mind. I'm like, dude, I want to be like Mr. Lee. Just collect rents, go travel, chill, relax, do whatever the hell I want.
Right.
So I started acquiring properties, right? When I had no money, the little I did, lowest amount of down, I'll house hack, started converting garages into rentals.
Right.
Doing Airbnb, the whole shebang. Back when Airbnb was very, very profitable. Now it's a lot more difficult, right?
Yeah. Tougher. It's just a different market, right?
Different. Now you're paying for a house that's going to produce, you have to pay 1 point something million, right? 1.3, 1.4, when I had a garage that's making me $4 or $5 grand a month before.
Facts, yeah.
So it's one of those things that shifted. However, that was always in the back of my mind. So every single time I got an opportunity to kind of scale up, I did. And when I met Jo, she's always been very, very savvy, bro. Super savvy. Like, she told her dad before Temecula was a thing, she goes, invest there, dad. Buy something. And he never did. He started investing when I came in the picture. I think he got more like motivated.
Oh yeah.
And then he's a drywall contractor.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So I told him, I go, hey, I'm gonna help you grow your business because I don't want you to work for somebody. I want you to just do your business.
Yeah.
And thankfully he's been thriving. He's been doing great. And then he got comfortable when he started investing too. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things where, like, my goal is always to try to, if people want to, I'm going to share my mistakes. I'm going to share my successes, but how can I put you on?
How sick is that, bro? With your damn suegro.
Yeah, bro.
You're like
he's another one, dude. I gotta give a shout out to.
Yeah.
He's really been another portion of that backbone to just, like, support, help, and make it happen, bro.
It's crazy. I love my suegro, man. He I don't have like the best relationship with my dad at this moment. But you know what? Like, my suegro, I will say this, bro. He's a handyman. He works in the jails as a like a maintenance technician type of thing. And it's just crazy, bro, because I want to do the best, like the same thing as you. I want to do the best I can for my mother-in-law and my father-in-law. Like, they are really great parents. They gave me a great fiance, soon to be wife. Like, it's an amazing feeling when you can diversify your investments and begin to be in a position where now you're like, hey, you know what? Suegro, like, I don't want you to work forever, dog. I don't want you to work for somebody. I want you to have your own thing. Like, that's so cool. That's something that I can only dream of one day in my life, dog. Because I think that's the cool. I've been pushing my suegro. I've been like telling him, because he's a handyman. He's smart, bro. He's really educated. Like, but he comes from the hood of LA. Mm-hmm. He just comes from the hood, like, and he's got that ghetto fab to him. I love it. My suegra too. We call her the grandma because she's just like she's a sheriff deputy. She's been there for 25 years, but like, she's a notary now, and like, well, she's still working as a deputy, but she's a notary now, and she's like trying to figure out what she wants to do post retirement. But these are like blue collar people, and it's like we're in a rare position where we can actually change the dynamic of our families. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's something that is super cool that should be brought up, man. It's like, it's a real tearjerker when I see you selling your suegros a home. And that, like, that moment, like, of I could see it in their closing day video. Like, they were just so happy, bro. They know, like, they did the right thing by like giving their daughter to you. And so
she won the lottery with me, though. Huh? I said she won the lottery with me. I won the lottery with her.
No, it's a two-way street, right? Like, I mean, I've known Divine since I was 13, bro. Well, she was my middle school crush, and I didn't meet her till I hit my little depression period, right? But dog, I always say, like, that she fucking saved my life. And then when I met her family, I was like, holy shit, I really hit the lotto. Yeah. Like, these people, like, me aman, way. They make sure they check on me like their son, bro. And
dude,
it's
my suegros are my homie.
Yeah.
We joke around, like, Joanna's like, what the hell's going on, I love that guy.
Hey, I'll tell you a funny little joke about my suegro. He told me the other day, he was like, because I'm a little underwater on my Tesla, right? Everybody, like, if you see me, I got my Tesla. I'm working on getting it wrapped, but I got like the little stickers in the back for now. I'm underwater on my Tesla. My suegro goes, And mind you, they live right here in Eastlake. They own their home, but he's just like, he's ghetto fab, dog. He tells me, hey, if I were you, bro, since you're underwater, he's like, just pay someone to go like bomb that shit. Like pay somebody to go like cocktail that shit. He's like, no, I'm serious. He's like, just do it. Cause he's like, you're, and I'm like joking. And he's like, nah, he's like, is Divine going to tell you something? I said, nah, like, I think Divine, like she would kind of understand, I guess, if I was to do some shit like that. He goes, yeah, cause she's ghetto. He's like, she's ghetto too, huh? So I start joking, bro. But yeah,
that's a good relationship right there, bro.
well, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, my suegro's my homie, bro. Both of them. We go shooting. We did, like a lot of cool shit. Now, to wrap it up, man, I know like last segment I want to talk about his legacy, right? Perfect. Perfect. Right on time, Andy. So when you think about legacy, what does that mean to you? Right? Where you're at in life, like really like simmer on that question. When you think about legacy, really, what does that look like for Davey Olivera and like in his 80s? What does that look like for you?
I think a big thing is, one, I raised a good daughter that's going to continue the help in the community, take care of people, look out for the best interest, and not be focused on the money, but be focused on creating change, right? That's the biggest thing. I think that's one thing that I continue from my parents is, don't follow money, follow, what drives your heart, follow, whoever has the same mentality as you and just take care of people.
Yeah.
I think that's the reason why my parents are very well loved is because they, no matter what shit happens, they always look out for the best in anybody and always want to help. Even 100%. If it's just a fucking case of waters or whatever it is, they're there to help out anybody.
Oh yeah. Well, like, and I mean, I can only imagine, right? Like one thing about families that have like immigrant families, right, is we understand hospitality more than anyone else, right? Like my dad's side of the family, I was raised by my grandma who she's right here. She's tatted on my right on my wrist for life. And she raised me. And one thing I could say, like coming from the family of immigrants, bro, you learn to be unreasonably hospitable, right? You learn, I think, and that's what separates in this industry, I think separates me, separates you, separates a lot of people from others. Because when you come from an immigrant family, you don't really got shit, right? But you learn to give somehow, some way. And, I think that's that part of life, like legacy wise, it's like, man, you want to teach your kids to do the same thing, right? You want Juju to one day grow up to be somebody that gave back to the world more than she took from it, right? And so, that leads.
This is like a luxury to me, dude. And people say, how do you do it, or what are you doing? How did you have this success? And I'm like, dude, I just think back whenever I have a bad day or a rough day, and like my dad's in fucking 100-degree weather for 12 fucking hours. This is a luxury. Like I can't even complain.
Have you told? So between you and me, like, have you ever told your dad, "Hey, pa, like, we got it. You don't got to do that no more"? Have you told him?
So that's the reason why I build ADUs. And Joanna's on board. We're building these, not, yeah, cool, cash flow, whatever, right? But when it's all said and done, if your parents want to move in, my parents want to move in, they can choose whatever the fuck they want, and they can take it. So that's the reason why I'm doing it. Okay. So I can take care of my people because they've already taken care of me. Right?
So ¿cuántos años tienen tus papás?
My parents are relatively young. My mom is, I think, she's from 70. So okay. She's what?
Your mom was born in 70?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they had you young.
Yeah.
Like how old were they?
55, right? 55, 56, somewhere like that.
So how old?
She was
16?
17, yeah. She was
17?
She was 16, but she turned 17. My dad was 20, I think.
20. So...
And he came here when he was 15, and his first pair of shoes is when he crossed the border. He never had a pair of shoes, bro. So for me to complain about anything, I can't. Okay, this is a luxury.
This is a really fucking hard show for me to do, dog.
It's a luxury.
This is a hard show for me to do because it's actually like very impressive, bro. And then sorry, I'm not trying to tear up, but fuck, dude. Like,
trust me, like the first time I saw my dad tear up was when
crazy.
I wrote a scholarship prompt my senior year, and I got state honors for the migrants, right? Because we're all migrants. So
yeah.
I came to LA and they read him my essay prompt, and I won because I spoke about his story. And that's the first time I saw him cry, bro. Woo! I gotta keep it together.
Yeah,
baby.
fuck, dude. I'm like, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things, bro. It really is real. Oh fuck, dude, I'm trying not to cry, because it's like, dude, you think about it, you know, and it's the whole process of like traveling to America is no fucking joke, bro. It's no joke. You know, my grandpa came from Iraq, man. I like, I'll tell you a little bit of a quick story. So my grandparents, they come from Iraq in the 70s, late 70s, 79. You know, my grandma was young, bro. She was still a young grandma when I was born. She was 39. And my grandpa, he came to America. My grandma, she met my grandpa on their wedding day, because they did arranged marriages. So they got married in Lebanon, and they come to America. America's brand new to my grandma. My grandma's brand new to my grandpa. Like, they never knew each other. So it just goes to show you, like, bro, like, when you're the family of immigrants, like, everything's by chance, bro. You know, they came to America not knowing what America would provide for them. On my abuelito side, of my mom's side of my family, like I told you, my tata was breastfed till he was 8 years old, dog. He ran away from Tepic, Nayarit at 12 years old. Wow. He took a train to Tijuana, worked in Tijuana, and then managed to come over, worked at, he worked a few different jobs, but one of the last jobs that he worked at towards the end of his life, he worked at a Mexican restaurant near Hamul. And I'll share this with you because I think it's interesting how you can come to America and like really pop off. My tata was working at a restaurant, like a Mexican restaurant in Hamul. And as he worked near the golf course there. And as he passed the golf course one day, he was leaving from work. I think it was Sequan. They had like Rottweilers that protected the golf course, something like that, right? But they left the gates open, and one day my grandpa was leaving work. He was walking the road, and the Rottweilers came chasing after him, bro. Gosh. And as he was running out into the road, he ran out into the road and got hit by a semi.
Holy fuck!
Yeah, he ran out into the road. He got hit by a semi, and the fucking craziest thing is my grandpa actually survived. He survived. Like he wasn't completely ran over. He was just hit, but they said that he flew about like 15 feet, and so. My grandpa is in America. Luckily, he's able to walk. They said he would be a vegetable. They said he was, but luckily he was able to walk. He was able to talk again, all of that, right? And he became, he sued the city of El Cajon for that. They won. It was like a $5 million judgment, like back in the day. This was like in the late 90s, right before I was born. And it just goes to show you, bro, like you can come to America. And granted, that was like a one-off type of thing, but like to become like even a millionaire, to get to that point, bro, like it's fucked up, but like we are privileged to be here today. Like the roots that our families have built, like it's a privilege for us to say, hey, you know what? They came from a fucked up life in another place to now we can take care of them and do something about our future in like the land of opportunity, you know? Sorry, I didn't mean to segue into that, but my audience doesn't know that about me either. Like, you know, my grandparents come from shit de mierda, and it's cool to be able to be in a position where I could fucking finally do something about it.
Exactly.
You know, now, transitioning here, what do you hope your daughter sees? So, like one of the last questions for legacy, and then we'll wrap up. But what do you hope Juju sees when she looks at what you've built?
So it's crazy you asked that question. It's something that we're constantly reminding her right now, right? One thing that I'm afraid of is raising a brat, raising someone who's just feels entitled and all this bullshit, because you know we grew up with nothing.
Right.
We've busted our ass off to make sure we leave something for her, right? So when we go, there's times where our cleaning team is not available. They can't go clean the Airbnbs. They can't do this. They can't do that. So we have to go up, you know?
Yeah.
She has her cleaning supplies. She has her little fucking mop. She has all that shit. And before we get to the property, every single time I go, whose house is it, Juju? It's my house, Daddy.
Yeah.
I go, cool. What happens if you don't work, Juju?
Mm-hmm.
It's not my house, Daddy. Perfect. Are we going to work? We're gonna work, Daddy.
There you go.
So every single time we work, and then I ask her, hey, Juju, thank you for helping me. I appreciate you. You did an amazing job doing X, Y, and Z, even though it's just more like shooting the shit. I go, how much do I owe you? $5, Daddy. So, so it's one of those things. So we're teaching her about finances too, because
Yes.
when she wants to go shopping, she loves fucking shopping, bro, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And I go, do you have money in your little alcancía, your little piggy bank? She goes, yeah, okay, let's go. And then there's times when she hits that tender moment, bro. Like, she'll say certain things like, hey, Daddy, can we take out this money because I want to buy someone this? Or she sees like a need in something. Can I do that? And that right there is like, fuck yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
And I obviously can't take credit for it because Joanna's there. I got to give credit to her madrina too, Cindy. She's been freaking phenomenal. She's another big pillar of why we're successful.
Yeah. I love Cindy.
Oh, dude, Cindy is like a lifesaver, bro.
I hope she sees this because you know what, to be honest with you, like Cindy, whenever I hire her for like whatever, for like she was at Camila's birthday working. And Cindy, like, she's always, and I'm telling you from the outside perspective, okay? She's always like, Juju this, Juju that, Juju that.
Bro.
Davey this, Davey that, Joanna this, Joanna that. No, she's a great soul, bro.
Bro,
You couldn't have picked a better madrina.
Bro, she like just aligned perfect. We were stressing out. We were teachers, right? Joanna's a planner, which I love and I hate at the same time. She's pregnant. She's looking at daycares. I'm like, bro, you still got about another almost a year before you. She goes, I just have to know.
Yeah.
I have to fucking know. So it's one of those things where it's like, we were looking, and then Cindy approached us and goes, no, I'll take care of her. And we're like, dude, we can't afford you. Like, a daycare is gonna charge us $200 to $300 a week. Like,
Yeah.
you full time, we can't. Like, let's be real. Like, we just can't. She goes, no, like, I'm not gonna charge you. Like, I just wanna be there. And Juju's development on her vocabulary, on her confidence is another big portion of Cindy, right?
Yeah.
She'll walk into a school, just fucking walking in,
Oh.
pretend like she owns the place, like at months, and then she'll sit in the principal's office because Cindy, everybody knows her at the district, right?
Yeah.
So a big portion of why we were able to do what we did and be able to quit teaching to do what we're doing now is because of her, and she knows it. We share that shit. I like genuinely love. She's my sister, bro. Like,
David Singh and Cindy, bro.
bro, pillars right there, pillars.
Pillars.
So it's one of those things where, like, those type of people, you can't even pay someone to do that or to say something like that.
Right.
So yeah.
That's funny because I'm at a monumental point in my life too where I feel like, you know, the biggest thing that I want to structure myself around is like counsel, right? When you're in the process of building an empire, okay, you don't build an empire with one person in your ear. You build an empire with a group of 5 to 6 different people that will counsel you and teach you and help you and guide you and love you, respect you, so many different things, right? And so there's like a few people. Andy's one of those people. My uncle's one of those people. I believe that like everybody needs a David Singh. Everybody needs a Cindy in their life, bro. And I know I said that already, but I'm a big believer in that. But nonetheless, man, it's been a great show. All right. I know we're going to be wrapping it up here in just a sec, but before I do that, I got a couple of rapid fire questions. And these are like quick, just right off the cuff. Before you go to a showing, what's your go-to hype song?
Bring It, We Right Here by DMX.
All right. I like that. Look at Andy. Eddie's like, hell yeah. Favorite San Diego taco spot?
I got to go with Tacos El Fatty.
Okay. No, I was going to say, no me digas que el pinche, the Canelo one.
Oh, no, right? Nah. it didn't hit the spot for me. So.
One thing you wish you knew before becoming a realtor?
Well, I was kind of already into it, you know what I mean? But I think it's one of those things where how crazy it can be with, 10 plus transactions.
Mm-hmm.
You never prep for that. So it's one of those things where you just have to adjust and go.
Yeah.
But it's a blessing.
You know what, man? I told Andy this. One of the greatest things that have ever happened to me is when I worked at the mortgage company, bro. During 2020, I had like months where I had 15 loans that I had to close in a month, right? And I told them, I still got to send you the plaques, but I have plaques that show like 15 units with like 4-point-something million, right? And it's crazy because I look back and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, man. If I could handle the mechanic work of like 15 loans, like I could handle 10 escrows. I could, like, it sounds crazy, but the mechanic work of it all is sometimes can be the most difficult part because you get collecting docs, doing different things. And so, anyways, yeah. But next question: best piece of advice for new dads?
New dads, just be present. Be present. Show your love. Don't be afraid to show your emotion because your kiddos will pick up on it. And that's one thing where Juju, when I show up, she goes, "Daddy, I love you." And that's the best feeling ever. So if you teach them love, you'll get that love back, and it just motivates you so much more. And that's the reason why every single night when we pray, I say, my queen and my princess are the reason why I work so much, because I want to make sure I realize all their dreams. And they feel it and they see it. So that's the biggest thing, is just show emotion. Like, no matter how manly you are, I think I'm manly, but on the same token, like, you got to show that love, dude. You got to show that love.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, what's a dream vacation spot for you, Joanna and Juju? I know you guys just got back, but, you know, what's your...
back. I think going back to our honeymoon place.
Okay.
We said we would go back when we have a child. And our honeymoon place was Bora Bora, so we want to go back and take Juju there, because I know she'll love it.
I love that.
She loves vacationing, so...
Now, what's harder, working with clients or working with your spouse?
Dude, that's honestly, I think it takes a lot more to impress my spouse, because she sees through some of my shit.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where, like, I think she makes me a better person overall. So
Oh, yeah.
So she challenges me, she pushes me, and the reason why I'm at where I'm at is because of her. So I think I'm always trying to impress her and make her happy. So I think it's harder for that, but it's very satisfying.
All right. Now, last question. What's the next big goal for Mr. Davey Olivera?
So right now in the works is we want to start focus on development. So I've developed small projects, but now we're talking about bigger projects.
Like commercial? You thinking like residential, commercial? What do you think?
Residential for now.
Okay.
Start off with that. Several homes.
Has commercial ever picked your brain?
I've done commercial deals.
Okay.
So yeah, of course that's another thing too, where I want to buy my own little commercial space. But right now we just develop on some residentials, because on the same token we want to provide a great product for people that may not have the opportunity to purchase.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's why I love being a realtor, man. Is like you get to get your foot in the door. Like commercial is great and all. Yeah, it's a different level. It's like business. You deal with a lot of business people, but commercial is cool because the deals sometimes they take like 6-7 months, but they pay out big. But you meet a lot of business people, and they're going to keep buying, right? But when you're a realtor, it's different. Residential is a whole different ballgame because of more emotion. People don't have the opportunity to just buy right off the bat, and so, well, you guys. Thank you for tuning in, all right, to the June the Realtor podcast. If you got value from this episode, go follow and go support Davey and Joanna Olivera. Connect with them, refer them, and show love for two people giving back to this city. And I can be a good testament to that, to say that right off the fucking bat. And as always, if you're out there, if you're struggling, I do this at the end of every podcast, Davey. If you're dealing with some heavy stuff or just need someone to talk to, my DMs are open. I know you can reach out to Davey as well. You are not alone, okay? I do this because I used to, when I was depressed, bro, I would listen to whatever the fuck I could just to get some sort of encouragement. And so I'd leave this open at the end of every one of my podcasts, and it will forever be a thing that I do. I'm nothing without the people in my life that have supported me, that have wished nothing but the best for me, have successfully been my fans on the sidelines without me ever even knowing. I'm thankful to those people, because I'm not fucking June the Realtor without those people. And so with that being said, guys, June the Realtor episode number 7.
Can I say one thing before you close it out?
Go ahead.
One thing I always tell people, and I've been through some shit, right? And especially when you're talking about depression, all that stuff, is if you can change it, let's do it. If you can't, don't dwell on it, and surround yourself with people like June. If I can help, let's make it happen, and let's keep on pushing forward, because there's people that care about you, that want the best for you, and we want to see you successful. So let's win together. Let's take care of business. Let's fucking go, baby.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Cheers, guys. Cheers to that. June the Realtor episode number 7. Man, I honestly, I cannot say, I've had a lot of good heart-to-hearts on my podcast, but I think this one was really something, huh, Andy? This one was really fucking something. So, Davey, thank you again, bro. Appreciate you, appreciate you, bro. And let's push this shit. We'll get it out there to as many people as possible.